Welcome to the Purple Tiger Fibers podcast. My name is Shay. I will be your host. We do all things craft here. I knit, I sew, I like to crochet. I am currently working on becoming a knitwear designer, and we pretty much do anything craft related here. So if you're into that sort of thing, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'm going to get right into today's video, which is going to be a little bit of everything. I have lots of finished objects to show you, including the one I have on. And I have some other odds and ends things, a couple of vintage sewing patterns that I am going to attempt in the next month. I have some whips to show you. And yeah, so I'm going to start with what I have on, which is a self-drafted piece. They're all self-drafted. So this top, I think I might call it the Amelia top. I'm not sure yet, but it is a crochet top. It is heavily inspired by Victorian and Edwardian pieces. I really love the look of the cotton corset covers and the crocheted ones and all of those beautiful romantic pieces. I really have always been in love with that stuff. So I wanted to make something that was inspired by that. So I not only did this one, but I also made one in brown. This is actually the original piece, and it does already have my tag sewn into it. This one is a little bit different. I did do some updating. When I made the white one, this one doesn't have ribbon. It has like a regular I-cord tie, and it also has a tie up here. This one didn't need it. I made this one slightly smaller, a little bit wider across the neckline. I will insert photos of me wearing it so that you can see the difference. But this is what sparked my idea to make a pattern from it. I really love this piece. It is very flattering on my personal body type. I am a petite lady of only 5'1", and I also have a short torso. So the things that I make are going to be more flattering for a short torso. I am also more of an hourglass / pear shape. So I tend to have a bigger hip difference from my hip to waist, and then my bust is also larger. So I have to accommodate that, and a lot of modern clothes have a hard time with that. So that's part of the joy of making my own things, is I get to adjust accordingly. So my next piece is a sweater, and I know that it's like August still, and people are still doing their summer knits and what have you. But I had this gorgeous thrifted yarn, and it is by Quince & Co., but I thrifted a whole bunch of it a couple of years ago. This one is a mohair and wool blend. I don't know what the weight is. It's pretty thick. It's probably a worsted or even maybe an Aran weight, but oh, it's so squishy. And I really wanted to make a piece that was kind of historic inspired without being too historic, if that makes sense. And I attached these beautiful vintage buttons. I don't know if it's going to focus, but they're gorgeous. And it has sort of a more balloon sleeve, and it is cropped. So it's great to wear with dresses and high-waisted jeans, which I wear a lot of. I really wanted to add things into my wardrobe for the coming season that I'm going to actually get some wear out of. And this is just so soft. I'm actually going to show you later. I have another one of these in process that are on my needles. I wanted to make one in a lighter color because this is sort of a really dark kind of foresty tealy green. And I wanted to be able to have one in a lighter color as well. So I have a beautiful purple one that I will show you on my needles after. Next, I have two of the same textures. I was working on trying to create some different textured pieces. And this one was an accident, actually. I was intending to make a sweater, which is what I have there. But I didn't like how this was fitting. I made this one in the round, and I am generally a straight needle knitter. I prefer to piece things. It gives your pieces more structure, and where I like more Victorian and Edwardian inspired stuff, I like to have more structure in my pieces. So this one over here is knit in the straight needles, and this is knit in the round. But I did not have, I didn't have the right size needles in the round, like the right wire size needles to actually do the sleeves. And I tried my hardest with the ones that I had, and it was just chaos. So I undid the sleeve that I had worked on, and I just did a short little bind off ribbed edge. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to have a vest. So here is my vest. This one is going to be called the acorn sweater or the acorn vest. And I really liked this pattern. It's just a variation of a slip stitch, but I really wanted to do something different, something cozy. This one came out with like real big Hobbit vibes. Not mad at it. But anyway, and then this one is the one with the sleeves, and you can see I didn't weave in my ends or anything yet because it's honestly still a work in progress. I accidentally made the sleeves like bracelet length, and because I did a more puffed sleeve with a cinched in longer cuff, I don't think it's super flattering at the place that I decided to leave it on my arms, like in correlation to like the smallest point on my waist. Because when your arm sits down, you don't want to cut yourself up with the sleeve in a weird spot when you're short. So this one is still a work in progress. I think I might rip back the sleeves a little bit and add some more length to it, but it does have that same kind of scooped neck, and it again is cropped. My intention was to wear it with high-waisted jeans and with dresses for fall. Then I have a piece that is finished off the needles from I think the last episode I showed you, the beginnings of this. This is a 100% cotton square necked top. It has buttons down the front, and it is completely openable, so I can wear it as a cardigan or as a top. And this is actually just the Peaches and Cream $1.99 yarn that you get at Walmart. So it was really affordable. I think it cost me maybe $6 to make, which is crazy. And it is cropped. Again, I really like this sort of cropped little sleeve detail situation. I did a little seam at the top of the shoulder, and that's what the back looks like there. Again, just like a really easy piece. If I was going to make another one of these, which I probably will in the future in a wool or a cashmere, I probably will make it longer. It hits right at the smallest point of my body, which is flattering, especially if I'm wearing like more flowy dresses. I kind of wanted to have some pieces like this to kind of cinch in my waist at the smallest point. But for wearing with jeans, it's a little bit cropped. So it is what it is. But so that is the piece that I was working on the last time I spoke with you. And then I have one other little thing. This was kind of a fail for me. I wanted to make a bandana, and I had a little bit extra of that same cotton yarn. So I decided to try to make a bandana. Now, this is probably fine for most other people, and I'm sure it would be perfectly fine on anybody else's head, but I apparently have a smaller head than I thought I did. So this, I made it, and it goes like too far, like the triangle is too low here. And what it does is it causes it to sit weird on my head. So not the biggest fan. I may put this one up on my Poshmark to sell it. So next up, I have a couple of, I guess you call them acquisitions. I have two vintage patterns here that I thrifted a long while ago, and I was kind of going through my stash because I've been feeling inspired to sew a little bit more lately. As the weather kind of cools off for me, I become more interested in sewing in the like cooler fall months. I actually have a skirt which I'm in the process of drafting and making. I will probably insert a photo. It is a work in progress. I'm not 100% satisfied with how it has come out so far. It is a work in progress. I was trying to create something that was inspired by the Edwardian and Victorian periods, particularly the cotton and linen petticoats with all the beautiful lace. I really wanted something kind of almost prairie, a little bit cottagecore, maybe a little bit like witchy. So you'll see when I insert the photo that it's not quite exactly what I was hoping for, but that's okay. It's a work in progress, and I'm gonna, I think, make a second draft of it. But anyway, the whole reason I was telling you that was because I was going through my vintage patterns and my pattern stash in general to see what I had, and I have these two which caught my attention. This one is I think this is actually 1980. It has a date on it. Where'd it go? Yeah, 1980 Simplicity pattern. And it is actually a wedding dress pattern. It has the original $3.50 on it, and somebody paid 50 cents because it has a reduced sticker. But the reason that I wanted to pull this one out is because of the neckline. I clearly don't want to make a wedding dress, and I'm really not into this like super ruffly top situation. But this dress here has a beautiful square neckline, and one of the things that I struggle with when I make myself dresses is the bodice. If you can hear clicking, I have a puppy. He's in the other room. One of the things that I struggle with is the bodices. I always end up with fit issues on my bodices, and it's probably because I'm short-waisted. So because of the bodice on this, I was really interested to try it out. I really like the square neckline right now, and I have a hard time drafting my own bodices. For whatever reason, I can't seem to figure out the math to make myself a bodice block that fits me right. I really need to spend a little bit more time on it to get one that fits me right. But I'm hoping that this might work out for me and I can just attach my own skirt to it. So we'll see. And then this one is actually I think this is from like the early 2000s or 90s Renaissance costume pattern. This is actually from my aunt's wedding. If you are watching this, Aunt Rose, this is from your wedding. She had I guess you would call it like a princess and knight themed wedding. A lot of the people in the wedding party dressed up in like peasant costume, and her husband was dressed as a knight in shining armor. There was a castle. We did a whole thing. So it was beautiful. But this is left over from that. This one doesn't have a date, I don't think. I didn't see a date on it, but it's definitely the early 2000s. I don't remember what year my Aunt Rosie got married, but I'm pretty sure it was early 2000s. It might even have been the late 90s. So anyway, the reason that I pulled this pattern out is because of this particular corset piece that goes over here. I really want to have some modern sort of corset inspired tops to kind of layer over my dresses. I have quite a few dresses that are like a long sort of peasant style dress with a beautiful like puff sleeve or a sleeve detail, and I really think they look great when you cinch them in with a cropped or a fitted either a vest or this sort of like corset style top. And so I think I'm gonna try to make one of these. So stay tuned for next video because we'll see if I actually did it. Next up, I have whips. So I have, let's see, I have one, I think I have like 4 whips. So let's start with the one I was telling you about before. This is the same pattern as the green sweater I was showing you before with the thrifted yarn. And this is Quince & Co. yarn, and it is, what did I say? It was wool and mohair blend, and it's super squishy. I don't know if they do these colorways anymore. I thrifted these yarns about 4 years ago, and I thrifted sweater quantities of both of them, and it was when I wasn't really doing as much yarn stuff. So they had kind of just sat in my stash and I didn't do anything with them. So this is the pattern a little bit closer up. The texture you can see a little bit better. It's like a broken rib. It's kind of almost a mock fisherman's rib. So, or like it has like a brioche vibe maybe. But anyway, I am working it on a larger needle size. These are US size 10 needles, and because the yarn is so thick, I don't know if you can see, it's pretty thick. So that is one of my whips. The next couple pieces I'm gonna show you are kind of in progress pieces, and I don't have anything to show you like a finished version of. So I did sketch out kind of a design for each piece. So I will insert a photo of those to show you. So this is a dark navy with a dog hair on it, a dark navy cashmere that I have actually upcycled or repurposed from an old sweater. So as a reseller, I pick up lots and lots of pieces, obviously because I resell them. And sometimes when you get things at the thrift store, I particularly spend a lot of time at the Goodwill outlets, so everything is in bins. Sometimes you miss that there's a hole or there's a stain or what have you. And so sometimes things aren't sellable. A lot of the time I do try to salvage those pieces and actually mend them myself before I sell them. But I realized something, and it's because of somebody else's channel. I was watching another crafter's channel. I believe her name is The Knitting Engineer or Engineer Knitting. I will leave her her handle like here so that you can check her out. She does a lot of vintage inspired stuff and I really love her stuff. It's very cool. She did a video recently sharing how she unravels thrifted sweaters and reuses the yarn. Fantastic. I've always wanted to know how to do it. I've tried in the past and I did not have the right kind of sweater to be able to take it apart. So watching her channel has helped me immensely. And I have like 3 or 4 different yarns in my stash right now that I've literally taken from other sweaters. I'm kind of obsessed and it might be a danger. But anyway, this yarn is actually upcycled from an old sweater and it is 100% cashmere. It is lace weight held double. It's very, very fine lace weight. So I have it working on 3mm needles and it's just going to be a stocking knit with I have a little bit of a rib on the bottom. It's hard to see because it's so dark. I will show you my inspiration. It's probably going to be hard to see because it's on like lined paper, but this is sort of what I'm looking to do. Hopefully you can see it. I want something cropped with a puff sleeve and a square neckline. Again, I'm just really into that right now. But I do want to make this one long enough to wear with jeans so that I can wear it as a standalone piece. I'm sorry if you can hear the traffic, by the way. I always try to do this on a day where there's less traffic and I don't have any luck. I live on a main street and it's summertime. Clearly the motorcycles. Next, I have another crochet piece in the making. This one is going to be a lace short sleeve cardigan. I might make it long sleeve if I have enough. This is also salvaged from an old sweater. This is 100% cotton and I'm doing kind of a Victorian inspired lace and I'm gonna have it like with little buttons up the front. So that is all I have of this to show you. Again, I will show you what my plan is, sort of. Please ignore my like bad sketch jobs, by the way. This is kind of just to show you a little bit of like what's in my head. Hopefully it comes out better than this, but this is kind of what I'm looking to do. So I will continue to work on that. And my last thing is actually, I thought I had already cast it on, but apparently I didn't. So I will show you the yarn. This is, again, 100% cashmere yarn. It is stolen from a sweater that had lots of holes. This is single ply, so it is very fragile. I am hoping that I have enough of it to either hold double for the project I want, or I may need to hold it with something else. I was thinking about getting a maybe a lace weight alpaca to hold with it. I am a little bit sensitive to mohair sometimes, so like the Quince & Co was fine against my skin. It doesn't feel itchy, but I'm kind of questioning it in like a lace weight. It's kind of like really fluffy, so I don't know. We'll see. But my plan for that is to make something like this. And this one has a swatch because I have decided that I'm going to start doing knitting journals. And I want to start making swatches for like a little bit of a sampler to go next to my project. So this is going to be hard to see, but I would like to do some sort of a little cropped tank top with a wide rib section and then kind of a more full bust area, kind of almost like a milkmaid style. I think that that would be really pretty with like a corset kind of like over it. I would love to add sleeves, but I don't think I have enough yarn to do that. I stole this yarn from an existing sweater vest that had holes in it. So I probably won't get that much out of it, but we'll see. So those are my works in progress and my kind of design ideas for the next month. I'm sure that I will also cast on a bunch of other things. I'm already really excited for fall. And I also am going to make another one of these in a navy color for my aunt who has requested it. So you'll probably see another one of those before I send it to her. Right. Okay, so lastly, I just wanted to mention, I told you a few minutes ago that I'm going to start doing knitting journaling, and I got this nice book to start doing this. I have like a couple of little samples in here that I've already started. They're not sewn down. I have this little lace sample. I have another sample from a cashmere that I stole from another sweater because that's what I'm doing this week. I have a sample from the sweater I showed you last time, the linen and cotton blend, and a sample from the Quince & Co. Geez, why do I keep forgetting what the content is? Wool and mohair blend. And I'm going to be inserting those with the actual pattern when I write the pattern down. And I do already have one pattern that I had written in this book about just around Christmas time. I made a square neck long sleeve sweater. And I haven't shown you guys because it's technically last year's stuff. I might show you at the end of the year kind of what I made last year. Oops. And I clearly have like random papers in here. Anyway, that's kind of what I started working on, and I wanted to be able to actually have all this stuff in a book. I thought it would be really pretty to kind of do the samples with it. So that is everything I have to show you today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you made it to the end of the video. If you did, leave a little yarn ball down below in the comments, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.